So the term customer success obviously sounds like what it is. It's making sure your customer is successful. But I think, at least when I was starting out as a founder, I didn't think too much about it and I didn't really focus on it enough. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about throughout this presentation. So when you look at the customer life cycle of when a customer finds you to when they actually onboard and expand, it breaks up into 4 main categories. So first, a customer finds you and it's the interest phase. They just learn about you. They typically learn about you through some form of marketing that you're putting out. And that's how they learn that they actually are interested in possibly learning more about your service. Then they move into the purchase or decision phase, which is when your sales team comes in and helps them convert. So if you're on the B2B side, you probably have a robust sales team, especially if you have a higher ticket item that will help them close the sale. If you're more of a low ticket SaaS, this purchase decision phase may be a lower touch sales process, but it still is that sales and decision process as well. Same with the B2C. And then once they actually transition to becoming a customer, they get moved into onboarding and then eventually either renewing their contract with you, expanding their contract, or purchasing again and being a repeat buyer. And that's whole last section from onboarding to renewal and expansion is where customer success comes in and where your customer success team lives. So when you look at this full life cycle of your customer success is the entire time that the customer is, and the most important time they're with you is during this customer success phase. But I find that a lot of brands, including ourselves starting out, focused a ton on sales and not enough on customer success, when really customer success is where you have the most opportunity to really scale your brand and make sure you have product market fit. So that kind of feeds into this statistic here. The probability of selling an existing customer is 60 to 70%, and the probability of selling a new prospect is only 5 to 20%. And I point this out because, once again, if you're focusing all of your efforts, or let's say even 90% of your efforts just on the new sales, and you're not focusing it on customer success, which is the major portion of your customer's life cycle, then you're missing out on this low-hanging fruit that has a probability of expanding, renewing, closing, growing. That's 60 to 70%. So significantly higher. So 3 times as likely. Getting into that, I'm going to talk about this customer success mindset and what we implemented on our team. Starting out at Statusphere, we had 2 customer success teams for both our members and our consumers and for our brand side. But we called the brand side account managers at first. And then I quickly realized that they weren't account managers. They were so much more to that. They were customer success managers. They were making sure that the customer was being successful. We had to make sure that they were approaching problems that way. And I found that by calling them account managers, they weren't approaching problems the way that I wanted them to approach them. So, for example, some major points of the customer success mindset are here. So first, they prioritize customers' needs and goals over everything else, which means they'll actually prioritize, and we tell our customer success team to prioritize customers' needs and goals over don't make sure they're using all the parts of the product if they don't need all the parts of the product. Make sure that you're really listening to what their goal is and giving them the solution, whether that's through something Statusphere can provide or not, and really looking at it in a holistic, just to make sure that you're not missing out. Especially as a startup, when your product may not be fully built out, you don't want to just get in the habit of your customer success team just trying to hammer the solution you have at your customer when they might be asking for something else and your customer success team is just not listening. So that's also a great way where you can find insights as well as you're growing out your product. So prioritizing those customers' needs and goals over everything else. Being solution focused. So when a customer comes to you with a problem, moping and having a positive attitude and saying, how do we solve this? Which seems obvious, but really making sure that your customer success team approaches everything in a solution focused manner really does change overall how customers interact with you, and realize that, which is my next point, that they're the customer's advocate. We call our CSM team the BFF of our customers. We tell them no matter what, tell the customer that your goal is to make this successful for them. It helps diffuse situations when there is an issue, when there was mismatched expectations or something. Make sure to let them know, I am on your side and I want to figure out how to fix this. It instantly diffuses the situation. But then it also gives you opportunities to build those relationships and expand with that customer over time. Next is being customer focused versus product or feature focused, which I talked about a little bit. But I find with a lot of startups and just companies in general, you'll do a sales call, you'll get onboarded, and you'll find that the customer success or the account manager is really trying to get you to use a part of the product you don't even want to use, and they're not even listening to your problem and giving you a solution for it. So really finding out what is the overall customer situation and how can you best approach a solution for them that's not just solely focused on the product that you're selling. And then lastly, be proactive versus reactive, which I think is one of the best ways to win over clients in the future. And as a startup, when you are launching brand new products and there are little bugs and little things going wrong, it's great to be the one who messages them first about it. And it really just also shows that you're on top of things as well. So going into how to shift this customer success mindset, this is an example of how our account managers at the time used to approach things. They would say, my job is to make sure that our customer fills out their portal on time. Versus with a customer success mindset, my job is to make sure this campaign is as successful as possible, which includes making sure they fill out their campaign portal on time. So it goes from being this like checking a box, making sure they do things, to saying, no, let's explain why we're asking them to check this box. Just shifting that in your verbiage and your messaging that your team uses with your customers, whether it's B2C or B2B, really will change the way that you learn what your customers' issues are and just how you solve the different problems that you have.
Okay, it's time for another OurCrowd Deal of the Week. Right now, you can join OurCrowd's investment in Moodyfy. According to the deal memo, Moodyfy is radically altering the multi-billion-dollar fragrance market by digitizing scents. Moodyfy is the first company to develop software that enables function-specific scents that, according to the deal memo, improve mental performance, eliminate the perception of bad odors, and much more. You can get in early on Moodyfy and other unique opportunities at ourcrowd.com/twist. By the way, did you know that OurCrowd investors were able to get in on some of the best IPOs of 2019 and 2020? Well, they benefited from companies IPOing like Beyond Meat and Lemonade, and some of OurCrowd's companies have been acquired by buyers like Intel, Nike, Microsoft, Oracle, and Uber. With OurCrowd, accredited investors can invest directly and easily in startups early before they IPO or get bought. Accredited investors can participate in single company deals for as little as $10,000 or one of OurCrowd's funds for as little as $50,000. Again, the OurCrowd account is free. Just go to ourcrowd.com/twist. OurCrowd.com/twist.